Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Self Love Show. Hi, I'm your co host, Dawn Light, and my gorgeous co host here, also Trish Wright, is with us. We produce the show weekly. So excited to be here with you this week. We have a beautiful guest, my sister, Aimee Lora. And I'm going to read her bio and introduction in a sec. I just want to say, Aimee is such a special dear sister to me. She has been in my life for a little while now, and our weekly chats and medicine work together has just been so deep, and her soul offerings are so profound. So excited to showcase her today and give her the spotlight to really reveal this deep wisdom about womb awakening. So with further ado, I'm going to read her bio and introduce her. And also for our viewers that are just tuning in, welcome. We're so excited you're here. Please also go like us and tune into our YouTube so you can choose any of the previous self-love shows so you can see them. And without further ado, I'm going to read her gorgeous bio. So womb wisdom is within every person and every gender. The womb has an energetic space that is held within the body and is the point of all creation. The womb is where ideas are born and where they also die. By turning into this energetic center in our bodies, we can harness the power of manifestation and creation, and also destruction. So much of the manifestation available focuses on the mind, and like to focus first on the body. So we can go inward and into the depths and into the mystery of you. To awaken this womb wisdom, we must be willing to go inward to discover the magic that heals long-held pains from the past. But truly being in relationship with our bodies, we can transcend the limitations that sometimes seem to hold us back. Whether it's physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual trauma, it can be released through womb activation. Wow, so powerful, right? When we are in tune with the womb, we are in tune with the greater natural world, and there is an absolution of separation and an invitation to unity or bliss consciousness. Awakening the womb awakens your ability to create heaven on earth in the 5D world. So Aimee Lora is a spiritual guide leading women back to their truth. She helps socially conditioned and repressed women break free from the chains of suffering by teaching tantric principles, womb wisdom, and provides frequency support. She focuses on the innocence of our humanity, inspires her clients to dream big and lean into their desires to embody their worthiness that will ultimately shift their entire world to reflect the beauty that they are. Aimee is a devoted mother that awakened to her creatrix power through pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. Her passions are helping women realize that they have this power within and that they can live their soul purpose. Earlier this year, Aimee released her workbook, coloring book called Color Your Mantra to help awakening women learn about goddesses, chakras, power symbols, and mantras. So without further ado, we are so stoked you're here with us, Aimee. We love you.
Yay! Thank you for the introduction. Yes, all that and so much more, because we are just multidimensional human beings and no words could really embody the truth of our essence. So yes, I'm Aimee Lora. I am a devoted mother. I'm a spiritual guide for women to embody their truth, their innocence, and it all starts in the womb. It starts in this deep place inside of our bodies. I've been somebody that has chased spirituality out in the stars, out up there my whole life, and have felt really lost, unrooted, and ungrounded. And through really coming back home to my body through that pregnancy, through birth, and through postpartum, I've really been able to see the magic of my ability to manifest. And I take it as my sacred duty to share this and to give this information to people, the sacred technology that lies within each of our bodies, whether you have a womb or not. And specifically, I identify as a woman, so I most definitely speak in that direction most often. And I want to honor that if you don't have a womb, if you've had a womb removed, this energy is still there, this creative and destructive and transformational space inside of you is available to access and awaken.
Gorgeous. Oh, I think you're muted.
Because I was doing things with video in the background. I'm certain you all know I do crazy, I get that really like face in the background. That's me doing all the tech stuff in my resting thinking face. I love what you're saying about that everyone has a womb or a creative experience. Everyone has like this creative, juicy place. And I would love to talk a little bit more about that. Like, for our male bodied and male identifying people, as well as, some of us, like maybe the group of us here, have had some relationship with their actual physical womb. So I don't necessarily know the question, but maybe you just want to talk to that.
Sure. And even for the people that identify as non-binary, like if we can just identify with the chakras, those are kind of the easiest energy centers to identify with when we move down our body with these chakras. We've got our crown chakra up here. We've got our third eye. I don't want to go into too much detail, but we've got our throat. We have our heart. We have our solar plexus. And then we have this sacral, and then we have our root. And this like solar plexus and this sacral energy for me is like really where this creative energy lies, because this is our power center. It's in our body. It's in your gut. If you can, everybody's got a gut. So think about that deep place. So if you just bring your awareness down your body into your gut, it's that instinctual place. And when we can kind of cultivate this relationship with that, that's when we can begin really rooting it and expanding our creative energy. Because when we can really focus our energy on what we are wanting to create, where we're moving in our lives, we can really say like, oh, are these thoughts really where I want my life to go? These self-destructive thoughts, these thoughts about, running into a car on the driveway. I'm driving a car and I think about crashing my car. Do I want to amplify that? Do I want to focus on that? Do I want to create more of that in my life? No, that's not what I want. So I'm just going to focus here and root on actually what I do want to create in my life. Because I'm actually somebody that has had a lot of mental illness in my past. And I've had to navigate moving through that in a way that actually that keeps me alive.
Yes. Moving from those thoughts that really keep us in the loops to a more thriving, centered, aligned state of existence is what I hear you saying.
Yeah. So the whole theory for me, like this is like really big picture, but I think I really need to say it for like womb wisdom and womb awakening is creating our heaven on earth. Dawn mentioned it in the beginning introduction bio around this is our power center of manifestation. So anything and everything I believe is formed right here in our guts. And this is why our ancestors have passed their wisdom through their guts. This is the place that we can really go to rewire our ancestral past and to rewire our future of where we are going in our life. So if you've got some ruminating thoughts, we can take it down. And actually, this is really awesome that you guys do the self-empathy tool, because this is the same action. We take it through the mind, we take it through the heart, we take it all the way down to the body. And here in this case, we're taking it into this womb space, this infinite black space of all creation. So I just like to imagine the universe in my body. So if you can imagine right now, you have a universe in your lower body, like it sits here in your low belly. If you can touch your hands to your low belly and really begin to feel that space, and maybe there's some movement that wants to come through. There's just so much life and opportunity and potentiality that lives inside of us. So this is the opportunity to really begin honing in all of those thoughts and bringing them down into our bodies and saying, hey, this is what I want. This is where I want to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's so juicy. Tuning into the body centers and like allowing yourself to be with, right, what's there for you, what's alive for you.
Yeah, especially like in my past, I've been somebody that has been really perfection oriented, and in the perfection world, I like to grow, but I'm never good enough. So in rewiring that and opening to the possibilities of like, you know what, I'm going to be human. I'm going to not be perfect all the time. And there's going to be thoughts, there's going to be beliefs that I have that I'm going to be ready to let go of. And it's going to be normal and it's going to be okay. And because I have this awareness of my womb, I can actually use it to my benefit. And being a woman, I actually go through a cycle. And actually, I think everybody goes through a cycle. I think how beneficial if men and non-binary people would actually go through the month and maybe follow the lunar cycle and say, you know what, at this point in my cycle, I need to really just like cave up. I need to not be around anybody right now. I need to not talk. I need to not do business. I can't schedule anything right now because I get to rest. This is bleeding time for many women. And just following the cycle in that way is how we can really hone our powers.
Well, I've had enough men in my life that I live very closely with that they also go through cycles. Like, the body has a hormonal shift regardless of, or an energetic shift. And, we move with the draw of the gravitational pull of the moon. And I love what you're saying is like really honoring that place inside of you. Where are you? Where's your cycle? And I've heard that some women who are moved from their cycle is that's they loved the excuse of like, oh, I'm bleeding. I have to, I'm taking time to go rest and be in my body and in my cave. And there's a group of women that I admin for that really promote, not using it as an excuse, but using it as, just like being with that. It's like, oh, I have this, and this is my time to really commune with the darkness, the inward, the depth, and really have that expression. And because there's a lot of creativity in actual physical menstruation. And there's also a lot of creativity in the places that aren't there as well. So honoring that is just honoring the energetic cycles. I love this.
Yeah, absolutely. And in a masculine world of sexuality and femininity, we have to make excuses. And in a feminine world where the Divine Mother is honored, it's just a part of our natural rhythm. And there's moon lodges, there's red tents of women gathering and really being in discovery around this sacred time of this blood, this moon time. And yes, our intuition is amplified during these times. Our dreams speak really loud. And this is a time where it's like, oh, we're letting go of the past month and we're releasing it so we can step into the new cycle really fresh. And it's a place to reflect and say, hey, how did I take care of myself? How did I love myself? Because our blood and how we bleed, the pain that we may feel or the emotions that we may feel are all indicators of, oh, I'm really in pain right now. How did I not honor myself? And how can I honor myself a little more moving forward? Because it's always a practice of self-love.
Mm-hmm. It is always a practice of self-love. Beautiful.
Can we talk a little bit about people who have transitioned from menstruation? And can we talk about our male or testosterone runners, those testosterone. How do they really honor their womb in this space? Well, I guess those are separate. They're very two separate beings. Like,
so I hear you talking about masculine, just men, and then people who shift their hormones enough to where they don't bleed.
Yeah. So the cycles of mother, maiden, seductress. No, it goes maiden, mother, seductress, crone, right? And so from the mother to seductress, like that, like in that place of like how does a woman or a woman or a person who runs estrogen, I'm being very specific, and I know that you don't know me that well to know that I'm trying to be extremely inclusive to the people who are trans friends and are, you know, have transitioned and who haven't, and the people just, I'm really just inclusive because I think that this is the world that we live in, and this is the world that we are in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I really want to make sure that especially the people who are moving into seductress stage, that they get to honor their womb in a really loving, joyful, vibrant, celebratory way.
Wow. I personally, I have not done too much, but in this realm, like I haven't really guided people in the realm who have transitioned and connecting with their wombs. And my intuitive thought is to really, like, this would be a whole platform of guidance for people to really, you know, have a first bleed, like work with a blood, work with some kind of red fluid, and choose which blood, choose which cycle of the moon. Do you want to bleed on the new moon? Do you want to bleed on the full moon? Make a decision and play with it, and have yourself a ritual with that sacred blood. And that is the ground zero of connecting with our wombs, is this fluid that comes from us. And it doesn't matter if it's real blood or whatever, because you can actually use real blood if you so desire from an animal. And
I can,
or another person. You could use blood from another woman if that's an option. Like I would share my blood, no problem. You would you, Trish? And just really being with that, because as a woman, I say get in touch with your body, and it's getting in touch with your blood, it's getting in touch with your fluids, it's getting in touch with your sensations. So for somebody that is transitioned to a woman, yes, you can still get in touch with that blood in a really multi-dimensional way by having fake blood or paint. You could do paint as well, and you could do artistic, you could do painting with this blood. You could do so many things. And there are women's circles that allow people that have transitioned, I don't know the right terminology here, to participate in these circles, in these blood moon circles.
And it's important just to say that it's like we're talking about the hormonal shifts. Like people who transition take estrogen if they're moving towards female, and people who transition to men are taking more testosterone. So there's, well, I don't exactly know all the things. Please correct me if I totally fucked that up. Like, please type it in, you know, share what's really.
And then there's women that are, you know, after their perimenopausal and menopausal women, you know, it's like I am like actively going through this experience in my life right now. Like I chose to do bioidentical hormones, and I just started. I've been on them a week, and it's been a really profound thing. And I've had a lot of sadness surfacing, and I just go with it. I'm riding the waves of it. And I've spent a lot of time like holding my womb and honoring my journey of where I was and where I've come to now. And it's like, I really am embracing it as a sacred rite of passage for myself. And like, this is a place of power. How can I own my power during this time? And really, what does this mean for me? And where can I lay claim to my power through this, right? Instead of it's like perceiving it through the lens of loss, because that is a very normal lens that takes place for women that are shedding their bleeding time into like where they're only perceiving it through the lens of loss. And it's like, no, I can transmute this and transform it and honor. Yes, it's a sacred passage. It's a rite of passage I'm going through, but I'm gaining so much more through this instead of losing. And, you know, it's like honoring what is, right? It's like a perceived perception. Yes, my blood is gone for the time being. who knows if it'll come back, because it can go a long time in women's life, like a 10-year period, sometimes they say. So I don't know. I have no answers for it, but I'm deeply tuned in. I attune to my womb daily, and I attune to my heart, and I'm listening. I had a really just eloquent, gorgeous, and it brings tears to my eyes, but I had this really sacred, beautiful prayer come through around honoring the daughter that I never had, because my life never lended to the opportunity of that. I had a lot of healing to do around my father wound, and life was so crazy. And thank goddess I listened to my intuition and had a gorgeous son. So I got to give birth, right? And I wrote this beautiful prayer, just like in the sobbing and the releasing that was coming through. I just had this gorgeous thing pour out of my heart around honoring the daughter and releasing her and allowing her to turn into all the women's faces, of allowing the daughter to no longer the dream of one, but many, and allowing her to become many, the faces of the goddess and all, and that I can still serve and share my light and my truth and my beauty in that way. And that it's not lost and it's not gone, right?
Dawn, for sharing.
Yeah.
I love you so much.
I love you too. Feels good to just be vulnerable about it and like honor the process, right? Because I'm not the only woman experiencing this, and I found that it was such a profound experience because it's dovetailing on the tail end of COVID and like, what has gone on. And there's been so much transition and change that it was like, oh, wow. And now this, so I'm sure if I'm speaking to you out there, gorgeous woman that possibly is in this transition too, I love you and support you and am here for you if you need a sounding board or a voice. Like, we can share in this. And I'm so excited to learn more about this transition and journey so that I can weave this into my coaching practice and serve women powerfully in this way. And also serve the men that serve the women in their lives that are going through this, right? Because it's a transition we all do together. Like, the amazing women that are out there that are married to beautiful men, and that the men are like, whoa, what's going on? That's a big deal for them as well. So I just want to hold space for that like all people's feelings, hearts, processes are welcome, held, loved, cared for.
Yes.
Thank you, Dawn. You mentioned something so beautiful, and that is really the invitation that I'm hearing for people who are in, not really typical places with their womb, or transitional places with their womb, or they don't have one, is really dialogue with it. How can we be in communication with this space and journal about it, prayer about it, talk about it, be like, just focus on it and bring it up to the surface. And yes, find the spaces that you can share vulnerably and authentically with it, because your wisdom is really powerful and it heals. So thank you for sharing your story.
Yes. It's important. It's important to honor all parts of ourself and honor all past rites of passages that we go through as humans. And every decade we go through a rite of passage in some way as a human, and from, maiden to mother, right? I just was at a gorgeous blessing way, and she's moving into mothering for the first time. And there's a lot of fear that can come along for a woman stepping into that role, right? And so as women, we gather and hold her to remind her you're held, right? And so this is the thing, is bringing back ancient traditions, ancient honoring in places of rites of passage, no matter what the rite of passage is, right? Like, I felt so held in my community when my husband and I went through losing our home. We had like 20 plus friends show up and help us pack that was a rite of passage. Yes. Now, little did I know it at the time, it was a major life transition. It was a course correction from the universe, and that's why it happened. I got back on track with my soul calling, which was eventually led me to get a degree and go back to graduate school, right? It was a course correction. So rites of passages are pivotal in our life as we all go through them. Men, women, every person, doesn't matter what sex you are, if you have a womb or not, rite of passage. And how can we honor that and bring it back to like your sacred work, Aimee? How can we honor that through tuning into our womb and our place of creation, because that's our language. We talk to spirit that way. It's in our house. It's in our temple, right? And so this work of being tuned into the womb is really hearing a deep calling of honoring your body as a temple. You are a temple. You're a living temple, a living embodiment.
So I do want to make a correction of something I said earlier, because I looked it up and I was like, I don't think this is exactly right. It's maiden, mother, enchantress, crone is the understanding that we have now, is that as a woman goes through perimenopause and menopause, that she becomes very magnetic and in her body. And I had never heard this before until I stepped into this beautiful women's group that I'm in, and we were developing a festival called Femistique, and it's all about honoring the cycles of women, honoring or female bodies, or the female movement, the embodiment of the feminine. And I was like, the enchantress. It's not, you don't go from mother to just crone. It's like there's stuff in between that is just so juicy and so amazing and so freeing. And something that Dawn, you said that I really love is that there's this thing about women, or the feminine energy, that is really nurturing. So Dawn, you were at this blessing way, and you're able to share your wisdom, and you're able to hold and nurture this new mother. And then someone above you will nurture you, like you nurture me, you know? And it's like the way that feminine community weaves in and really holds each other's wombs is something really, really special. And I think that that's what makes the womanhood, or the feminine community tying, weaving space so special, is that we're all like extending love without needing anything else, extending vulnerability, extending intimacy without the need for reciprocation, but really just like, I see you struggling, and I can hold you there. I have advice for you. So like, I can help you move in that flow of your you-ness, right?
Yeah, that's really powerful, and something that I didn't really have. Like, I mentally understood that, like, that sisterhood, and that it's that healed sisterhood that really can do that for another woman. And I was in a very toxic feminine mindset, in a place with a lot of different women, and it wasn't supportive. It didn't feel supportive. It felt like I was fighting for myself. I felt like I was judging people all over the place. And then I moved into motherhood, and then I was like, whoa, this is what everybody's talking about when they say that we're all connected. This is it. Like, I'm connected to my ancestors, my mom and her mom and her mom, and my, grandparents all down the line. And I'm connected to my daughter and her children, if she has children. And I'm connected all through this matriarchal line. And now I get it. And now I get how it's all rooted into the earth as well, because the earth is our great, great, great mother. She is the original mother. And that's the beauty of this work now, is like bringing us all down into the womb of the great mother earth. And you can be anybody on the earth, and you can do this work of bringing us down into the earth and rooting into this womb, and connecting to that infinite wisdom. And I don't want anybody to go further in life without understanding that, because I suffered in the world of separation and isolation and loneliness, and we don't have to do that. So that's my, like, I must share this so you can be free, and so you can feel connected and one.
Yes. Yes.
So I went to I just want to speak to something that's coming up for me. I went to a program called ISTA, the International School of Temple Arts, at the beginning of 2020, way before all the woo happened, before the epic pause. And something that I really, in my 10 years of understanding spiritual growth work and inner work, I had never gotten that energetically you can okay, I'm just going to speak to this from here, and then I'm going to come back to this thought. So your brain does not understand that what is fantasy and what is reality. So whatever you fantasize about, whatever you think about, whatever you put energy to in your very magnetic, energetic, electric thought process, that it believes that it's real. So in saying that, when you're meditating and when you're really like focused, when you're manifesting your thoughts on something, that's part of the creative womby space, right? So I'm at this like festival, or not this festival, this like training, and I'm sitting there and we're doing an energetic sex piece that we are both playing with our masculine and feminine with other bodies. It doesn't even really matter, but in this like place of full consent. May I play with my penetrative energy, or may I play with your receptive energy? And it occurs to me now, as I'm like really thinking about it, that if you're holding the space, regardless of what body you have or where you're at in your hormonal makeup, that the really just holding your energetic womb and allowing it to be a creative force, or like nurturing it in the way, is really part of awakening the womb wisdom in you. It's like connecting it to spirit, connecting it to your body, connecting it to others. Like, I mean, for the male identified men, male bodies, who are like, I don't understand periods. Well, are you listening? Are you listening to the people in your life? Because I'm sure you've been around women before, at least one, your mother, or not, maybe sisters, maybe friends, maybe, like you have friends who have wives, but you've heard them speak about their menstruation. And then, so if you can just drop into that meditative space of like, okay, can I just imagine in my short scope of understanding what it might be like to have a womb that will express the lining, and then eventually maybe create child, or not, give birth, lose the estrogen, come into the enchantress. Like, can you actually imagine being in a body that's not yours? That was long-winded. I hope that was okay.
It was super potent, Cher. Absolutely potent. Yes, because like after I gave birth, I had no idea that the placenta tore away from my uterus, and I had this open wound inside my body. And it was like, if I didn't know that, how many men don't know that? And how many other women don't know that? Like, that was shocking to me. I was like, we all should know a little bit more about this body, this female body that a lot of us walk around in. Like, that was just pretty out there. So yes, can we share? And yes, and can people listen more? Go ahead. What is it?
Oh, you guys are like just listening, and I was like, oh. So Aimee, I'm a certified sex coach with Sex Coach University. And that means that I know the pathologized and clinical languages for these things, which is totally wild. But what is the most fascinating piece is that we know so much about the penis. What we don't know is a lot about the vagina or how it works. And what blows my freaking mind every time I speak to someone is that most women don't know that they have a pee hole, like urethra. And it's very separate than the clitoris and the opening of the vagina.
I remember discovering that. As an adult.
It's true.
Anybody who didn't know, call me up and we'll talk about it. It's barely visible, and it will take another person to help you find it. Like, even with the mirror, it's really hard to find. So just saying.
Yeah. And that goes like, it's so even a little deeper. Like, how many of us have touched our cervix? And for me, that was like, again, mind blowing of recognizing that my cervix has a different feel during different parts of my fertility cycle. Like I can actually tell when my body is fertile and when it is a complete not fertile by touching my cervix and by acknowledging the different kinds of fluids that are coming out of my body. So that's empowering to know, and something that we need to know just as much as we know about penises.
Well, it's again, it's like the male
dominating
focus. Yeah, the male focus is mostly what we've studied in history or in science. That well, here's an example: is that when they studied ADHD, they only studied young boys, and so that ADHD and some of the other mental like ways that the neurodivergent people is that the women are like, it shows up differently for me because of my hormonal shifts. And it's like, oh, wow. So they studied a lot of sexuality for men and not women. Like they still haven't, like, why do women have orgasms?
It's a mystery. and where does it come from?
I totally took it somewhere else. I'm so sorry. These are just things that pop into my head when we're talking.
That's good. It's so relevant of like just demystifying the mystery of the female body and letting it out and sharing about it so other people can be like, oh yeah, if you don't know about your body, maybe I can help you learn about your body. Let's play.
just like bodies in general. We don't know so much about bodies in general.
Yeah.
Like we're still, after many, many years of having so much information about how to communicate effectively and compassionately, we still can't, can't quite figure it out. So, I mean, we all have to be hello, humans, be gentle with yourselves. It's okay. Whether you have a womb or testicles, whatever, wherever you are in your body.
Biology.
Yeah, biology. That it's a reminder to just be gentle and to really connect with self. Again, that self-love is exploring your being, is exploring the places where you feel shame, where you're like, have I touched my cervix? Do I know what it looks like? Or am I afraid? Have I been told by society that that's bad and dirty to know oneself, to know one's body? And can you transmute that shame into deeper self-love and connection?
Yeah.
Well, it's really powerful what you're touching on here. And I just want to dovetail off of that because like, I feel as a woman, we store so much in our hips and our womb and our bellies and our that area of our body. Right. And so it's really powerful to tap in and allow yourself to, heal through practices of just holding your womb and loving yourself and allowing and tuning into what's there and giving yourself room and space to like process the potential of what's stored there. What material is unprocessed that I need to let go of that's there, and that could be like old shame from sexual experiences from, first sexual encounters to like, who knows, there's a myriad of things that get, when we're not ready to fully process life because it's shocking or traumatic or, deeply transitional and we didn't have the time or space to process it, it gets stored in our body. And so until a later time and space where we can really process it. And so it's really important what this work of womb awakening is tapping into those places of, healing places and things and memories and material in your consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even our first bleed, like going back to that moment, like what was instilled when the first blood happened, that menarche, and then being able to say, oh, okay, well, now I'm aware of it and conscious of it. How can I reenact, give myself a self-initiation? And that's a big part of like this magic of like womb awakening is what you said, Dawn, of initiating and giving ourselves the time and presence and allowance of saying, wow, I felt a lot of shame during my first blood. Nobody like let me know what was going on. I was scared. People made fun of me. I was bleeding all over my pants and I was really embarrassed. And we hold that until we're ready to say, you know what? God, fucking amazing. I bleed every month, and I can let go of all of the past that I am just ready to let go of, these burdens, this heaviness, and I can start fresh every single month. All right, let's do it.
Mm. I love that. I start fresh every single month. I love that.
Wonderful story. My witchy little aunties, I don't think they even knew they were witchy, but they did something really special for me. I was at my family Christmas. My mother's the eldest of 6, and 5 women, 1 brother. So I'm at Christmas, and I started my moon around all my grandmother and my grandfather and, my aunties. And that year they all grabbed, like they gifted me separate from Christmas. They all gifted me with like jewelry. They like gave me rings. Like I have a ring that I still have, and a bracelet and all these little pieces, and they really celebrated me. And then my grandfather, which is really, he wanted to help me. He took me to a department store to get my first bras. And then my aunties argued with my mom about whether I could shave or not. And so there was this really interesting celebratory place where they were like, on my first bleed when I was 13, they were like, oh my gosh, we're going to celebrate you and advocate for your womanhood. And I was terrified, and I still was terrified for years. I was like, I don't even know what to do with this thing. I felt so unprepared. But now that I look back, I was like, oh my gosh, that was so sweet.
Totally.
That's so sweet. Anyway.
It's a really beautiful thing, like for all the women out there that have daughters. This is a sacred rite that when your daughter steps into that first bleed, it's an opportunity to celebrate her rite of passage into womanhood, and honor her in that way. And like, there's so many traditions, where you can actually make like a beautiful cloak to actually give her, and like bring all your sisters around and your aunties and your sisters and hold circle with her and teach her about, what the sacred rites of womanhood is and what you do with your blood moon every month and what you can do and what the possibility is and what it means to you and all the aspects of like, sexual way, the way we are as a woman, and how to be a woman in the highest and best way through our practices of being a woman. And so it's like, it's a beautiful thing to honor our daughters in this way and give them the gift of understanding that it's not scary to step into womanhood, and you have us as a tribe. We can really support you and hold you, and it's not a mystery, and we can explore this together, and we can hold you in this way.
I have chills.
Right. And I think that this is like back to that bringing back in sacred traditions, because before there was internet and before all these things, women did this.
Red tent.
Women did this. I mean, women have been birthing and doing these ancient traditions for centuries. I mean, if you think about it, women used to just go and hold onto a tree and birth a baby. Like, they were that amazing. Right? We've been knowing the ancient rhythms of how to be a woman and birth and do all the things that we do as women. And so it's like, I think that our culture in the United States, and with hodgepodge of cultures, but it's really important to bring back the traditions and meld the traditions. What traditions really resonate for you? And how can we celebrate this and bring these things, keep them alive? Yes. Keep them alive. They were our ancestors' sacred rites, and how can we keep them alive in our hearts? And really, because they help us with our rites of passage in life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we should be rites of passage, celebratory, and yes, we need to talk about these things, because this is our rite of passage. This is our birthright to talk about these things, whatever biology you have.
Yeah.
So let's talk. So what I heard was we're having more parties.
More gatherings, more celebrations.
Yeah.
Party for when you bleed, party for when you stop bleed. Party for births.
Party
Party for partying.
Party for ending nursing time, party for Yeah, there's so many opportunities for initiations. And that's something that I'm like really passionate about doing in my community, is offering women these initiations of like, oh, okay, you feel like there's a transition, let's make it really special. You want to do, I just helped a woman do a blessing for an IVF egg extraction. Awesome. Such
Wow.
a gift.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
So anything and
Make,
everything.
make it sacred, right? And give her help her tune into her power during that time. That it's not a disempowering thing at all. That she's actually, it's a conscious choice, and to weave in more magic and power and acceptance and celebration there.
Yeah, because we're always dismantling this masculine perspective of who we should be. Like as men, as women, as transgender, as non-binary, we are continually and constantly dismantling it, because that is the world we live in. We live in this industrial age of masculine go, 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 create, progress. We have to get stuff done to be worthy and to be successful. So we get to like help each other slow down and tune in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, for all of you beautiful humans that were watching, for all of those who didn't know about menstruation and female bodies, you're welcome. You had just got a real life download on Lora. So this is, I'm so grateful for that, because I think that these are things that we don't talk about. We just don't talk about them, especially publicly. And this is how you really dissolve shame, guilt stories, and taboo. This is how you because there is no taboo. There's 7.8 billion realities on this planet. If you only have one personality, just saying that there could be way more. I don't have that sort of information like stored up in my head. Just saying. So this is the way that we we become more human, as we talk about what is real and alive for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love if Aimee, you could take us through a little, like, tell us how to, all of us, all humans across the planet and beyond. I don't know if our extraterrestrial, I'm not going to go to be as arrogant to think that there are not beings outside of just planet Earth. Oh, just being like, there's got to be something outside of planet Earth. I'm not going to be that arrogant. That I don't know if they've figured out how not to do that thing. You know, the womby thing and the, egg, sperm thing. I don't know. I'm just so hoping that we can cover the entire
cosmos.
So I'm wondering if you'd like to take it away.
Sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, whether you have a body or not, we can do this. So I definitely do love our beautiful temple bodies. So the practice that I want to share with you is definitely just pretty simple. So let's just start placing your hand on your heart, and I want you to open your mouth. I want you to breathe through your mouth, and pardon, you may hear my toddler in the background, but just go with it. And maybe you can breathe a little bit louder. So open your mouth and breathe. So you're going to continue breathing in and out of your mouth, bringing the air all the way into your belly, all the way into your belly. Go ahead and touch your low belly with your other hand. And just settling in, noticing the sensation beneath your hands. Feeling the temperature of your skin. Breathing even deeper. It's going to be a full, ripe inhale. Surrender to exhale. Just letting it out. This is giving us an opportunity to really sink into our temple bodies, to really begin stirring up and awakening what's present with us, what's really alive in our realities and in our worlds. Knowing that it's always shifting and changing. But if we can focus on that one thing that's been bothering us or irritating us, that little niggle of wanting attention, we can focus on that and begin breathing it in. Breathing it into the lungs and bringing it down into the heart and letting it travel down into that womb space. So you have that connection, that bridge from your hand to your low belly. So bringing that thing, that idea, that thought, belief, maybe it's a story or a scenario that's just been ruminating, circling in your mind, bringing it down all the way into your low belly, into your energetic womb space, into this pocket inside of your body that is a dark, black, infinite universe. And continuing this stream of breath flowing into your body and into the depths. And taking that idea or thought and into your womb space and beginning to move your body, actually beginning to transform and gel that idea into nothingness and allowing it to dissolve in this infinite space of possibilities, allowing your hips to move in whatever direction. Maybe it's a spiraling. Continue your breath, deep breathing through your mouth. Letting go of any worries that you are doing it wrong. Opening the space to allowing the mystery to hold you now. Allowing a little more movement. Maybe you're seated. Maybe you feel like standing. Maybe you're lying down. Whatever feels right to you is perfect. Just knowing that you have this physical body to use as your tool to help shift and transform your inner reality that is the bridge to creating your external reality. So as we move through these seasons of life, as we move through the flow of our humanness, you can always come back to this breath, this bringing our breath down into our heart and into our body. And within that, you are transmuting the densities of our thoughts into potentiality, pure, infinite spaciousness. So let's take 3 really full, deep breaths together and surrendered exhales just to come to a close for this little gift that you get to have. Let's begin. 1. Yes. And let it out with a sound and move. So let's just give it your all here. This breath in. Sound out. And on that exhale, really settling into your womb and into the earth, and down, down, down into the earth, and into her womb, and connecting this thread of wisdom that is yours, that results in this transformation and transmutation without conscious effort, without thought, with just your doing. That is the power of our creation abilities. So coming back into the space, opening your eyes, feeling your body with your eyes open, feeling this, feeling what's here for you, and sharing in the comment box, how was that? What showed up? What sensations? What colors? What thoughts and stories did you transmute in your body? Welcome back.
Yay. What a beautiful practice. Thank you for showing our viewers that and leading us through that. It's delicious.
For me, totally TMI for all of you watching. I'm definitely in my moon cycle right now, and I'm having a very interesting one specifically, because it's just a lot. And I'm just there's like things that are happening there in my life that there's a lot of moving parts, and they're all amazing. Like there's just so much good just kind of building and growing. And I got to really feel into this gestation period, I guess you could call it. You know what I mean? And like, even though I'm releasing, there's like the continuing of the releasing of the story that I've held on to that lives in my body and in my knee. Something that I've been working with for the last little while, and just kind of like the solidifying of, there's something about slowness, or there's something about honoring self, or there's something there about like when I move with intention. What did I say to you this morning, Dawn? Or yesterday was intentional engagement is my mantra these days. And it's another, like, it's another aspect to this piece of my curriculum, is just being able to, you know, have this growing space, these growing projects, these growing things, and also to shed at the same time is very I'm speechless.
Yeah, I would love to just share a little bit of insight on that, because when we bleed, we can say that this is a place where we didn't give birth. We are infertile. And because you didn't give birth, you're still in gestation. We're in this beautiful cycle. You are, yes, you are still pregnant, metaphorically. You're still, yeah, you're nurturing it all. So how beautiful.
My mother bled through her whole pregnancy.
Wow.
Wow.
With you?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a whole lot of story there, but maybe another time.
That's profound. I didn't know that, you know, I thought that you didn't bleed when you were pregnant. That's really incredible.
I might not, I mean, I'm sure she said that she had her period many times. It might have been a lot through, because I was constantly, they told my mother that she couldn't give birth, that she would never be able to have children. And she desperately wanted me, and kept me in and like nurtured for as long as she possibly could. And I was 2.5 months premature. Like there was lots of moments where my mother's body was trying to release me. And she was like,
Yeah, we share that same, we were both premature.
Oh.
Yeah. There you are. No, there you are.
So I'll ask my mom. We'll come back to it. I'll type in the correction because the things that I remember as a child and the things that I remember now as an adult are often very different. Hey, Mom, if you're watching, type it in.
I just found out a really beautiful term, which is really awesome. Is if a woman has miscarried and then they actually have a baby after the death of that, or like say they have a child that dies, right? The child doesn't live. Well, the next baby born after that is called rainbow child.
Mhm.
Isn't that beautiful?
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that, and I found that out, and come to find out, I'm a rainbow baby.
Oh, of course you are.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, my mother had a child before me. It was my brother, and then 5 years later had a child, and then she didn't live. She only lived 3 days, and then 5 years later I came along.
Oh.
Yeah. And so my mother and I have been very, very close, like my whole life. Like she's, one of my best friends, like love her so much. So we've always had a very deeply spiritual connection as well. And it really makes so much sense. And, but I was premature. I was 2 pounds and 4 ounces when I was born, and also 2 months early. And my mom had to lay in bed for like over a month, like almost 2 months, to make sure she kept me alive. Like she couldn't get out of bed. So it was like one of those things. And so I'm just so grateful. And she said it was the most spiritual time of her life, being pregnant with me. And so it's a major rite of passage for her at that time. Could you imagine? So it's just, I really have so much compassion for women and our way of existence, and like the fact that we give birth and like our bodies go through this miraculous process, and even beyond when we're done menstruating, and like the wisdom that we carry and can pass on, right? And for holding our tribe and holding our community and being these wisdom keepers that we are. It's so important to be in our power and to be centered and to talk about all these rites of passage, again, to bring it back to the wisdom we hold inside in our womb. Every person, man, woman, all of us, we all have wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Aimee, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom here tonight or today, this morning, and helping us all awaken our womb wisdom. I'm going to drop her website in if you're interested in getting in touch with her. But tell us a little bit more about your work.
Oh, my work. Yeah, if you really want to get in touch with me right now, if you want to do, she's going to drop my website. My website is a portal to my coloring book, which is a female empowerment coloring book. And I've had men buy it and they love it as well. So anybody can buy it. It is just a book on there are goddesses, there's chakras, there are power symbols to color, and then there are mantras that are aligned with it. Some of them are Sanskrit mantras, like Om Mani Padme Hum for Kuan Yin, the goddess. And it's just, I basically just wanted to share my wisdom around it, because it was actually what really helped me tune into my feminine wisdom of being able to give birth. And so that was my gift to the world. And I also have the other thing on there right now is I have a course. It's called the Mastermind Life. This is very the masculine side of my company is that it's a 10-week course. We read and do the book Think and Grow Rich. It's actually really amazing. We have 3 parts. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. It was a creation idea that I had, and it took on a life of its own. It is, it's kind of like, it's past its, it's teenager already. It's a teenager. It has a foundation of personality already. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I can advocate for it. I've been a part of it. It's an amazing group of people, and her partner Aladdin leads and is incredible, and it's a great thing. And also the coloring book is awesome too. I'm an owner of the coloring book as well. Like, it's great.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And then, so those are my online offerings at the moment. Right now, I'm taking a coaching program. It's a Dharma coaching program and a spiritual life coach. So I'll be launching my coaching practice a little bit later in the year. I'm working on a group coaching program to launch out and offer. And in the meantime, in Jacksonville, Florida, which is where I am, I have a beautiful home and I host women's circles. For one, I'm doing a women's circle on Saturday. Super excited. So if you're in the area, you are welcome. Just message me on Facebook. That's the easiest way to message me there. And I also, again, I think I mentioned this a little bit earlier, I have a passion for helping women do self-initiations and ceremonies. So I can do that online, and I like to do it in person as well. And if you're in Jacksonville, my home is a beautiful place for a 1 or 2 day retreat. I definitely take applications for this, and I prefer people I know. So we get to create a relationship because I'm welcoming people into my home. As you might have heard earlier, also, I have a toddler. I have a beautiful family here. This next couple days, I'm going to be hosting an Ayurvedic practitioner in my home. She started out as my postpartum care doula, but now she is my family and friend postpartum care doula. She's absolutely amazing. And when she does her sessions here, I host sessions as well. I have a machine that I love to share. Actually, I have a couple machines. One of them is called the Quantum Pulse. I know I'm giving you tons of information, but that's, again, who I am. It is an electromagnetic therapy machine that has really helped with my mental health. Anything that has been like empty, like ruminating or sticky thoughts goes away so quickly. I watched it happen for everybody that comes and sits with this machine. It is out of this world. And I've always been like a sci-fi geek, so it just satisfies this really sciencey, nerdy part of me. And I have lots of other tools that I like to share. I've got living water installed here. So if you come in, I'm going to give you a really nice glass of ionized water, and just pampering or all organic foods. I love my home, and I love really nurturing the temple body and the spirit of people who come into my home, and know that will always be that's my intention when I'm with people online or in person, is nurturing the whole of who we are.
Well, thank you. I've typed her information in. Please go check her out. Maybe we'll coax her lovingly to come play in our Women Healing Trust Issues group as well. Maybe we can do that.
She is.
I'm in there. I was the first one.
Well, maybe we can coax you into sharing some.
I'll give a little tidbit. Amy's actually going to participate in the program a little bit when we do launch. She's going to come and do a really special thing. So. Yeah, we just haven't launched yet.
Heard it here first.
Yeah.
So in that case, I am also going to drop in our for women, the Women Healing Trust Issues group on Facebook. If you are female identified, check it out. Thank you again, Aimee, and again, always thank you, Sign Network. Thank you, Scott Katamas and Love Coach Academy, and thank you for there's a lot of amazing movements in the background right now that are really inspiring on that front too, that I would love to not exactly share, but say thank you to, just on the ethereal plane here. I'd also like to thank just Leaf in general for giving us an opportunity to participate, Dawn and I and Scott, to participate in a teaching opportunity. Do you want to talk a little bit about it while I grab the link?
Oh, sure. Yeah. It's called Into the Golden Mirror. So Trish and I are going to teach all on, self-love and compassion, and a bit on trust also. I think that those are the two places we've chosen. And it's a year-long amazing program all about self-love. And Leaf is basically the founder of the program. And it's going to be just beautiful, like online, year-long, delicious self-love adventure. So we're super honored to be a part of it. You'll see us post more about it. It's called Into the Golden Mirror. And yeah, it's great. I'm super excited to be a part of it.
Me too. And I am waiting for my slow internet to give me the link. So to make sure that it's correct, because, you know, I wouldn't want to give you a broken link. Dawn, thank you for your vulnerability today. Like you show up always so raw and real, and I love that. And I think that our viewers love that. And you really make a difference.
Oh yeah, thank you for saying that. You know, like that's what it's about, is being vulnerable and allowing ourselves to feel all parts of ourselves. And the show is birthed from that place of that deep desire to transcend all places where we have suffering, right? And like allow deep healing. And so the show is a muse to really give people that heart, that centering, that knowing, that awakening. And so we just so honored to have all the guests that we've had over the year. And thank you, Aimee, for being present here with us. We just want to hold you in so much love and light. Your work is so needed in the world, and we're grateful to celebrate you and just share your magic. It's beautiful. And I really I just admire your work and like your wisdom and what you're stepping forward into. I'm so excited to celebrate it with you and to know you and see you grow in this way. It's beautiful.
Thank you, Dawn. Thank you for always holding space for me. Dawn is a coach that I continually meet with, and who I'm committed to meeting with, because she gives me so much impact and value in my life, no matter how many coaching, like I do my mastermind life and I'm doing this other coaching program, but Dawn is always like the arrow to my heart. And she gives me opportunity to really be heard and to move through the stuff that I'm not willing to look at, or that I don't really see on my own. So I highly recommend Dawn as a private coach. And I love you and I appreciate you. And thank you for holding space here on the Self-Love Show. And thank you, Trish, for holding space for the Self-Love Show and bringing on your amazing wisdom, because like I watched your show last week around the boundaries and it's been so powerful this week. So thank you for sharing your wisdom, and thank you for bringing on wisdom from other people who need a voice, who need a platform. This is a platform for self-love and how dynamic it is. So thank you.
Yeah.
This is the privilege that they were given, is by giving others the opportunity.
Yes, exactly. I love you, Trish. Thank you for today. Always. Love you, Aimee. And we love our viewers. Please keep tuning in and watching. Please go to the YouTube channel and like and subscribe and share it out. If you have someone that's struggling with any of the topics, just go back through and look at our year-long topics and send it out to your friend. Say, hey, you need to know about this tool or this resource or this person. It's right in line with your topic of what you're struggling with. Like, spread the message. That's what this is about. Like, we all deserve elevation, activation, self-love, living our best life. Living our best life. We all deserve it.
Well, we will catch you next week. Same time, same place. Same channel.
Same channel.
Bye.
Bye.